Hello everyone, my name is Tamara Greer and I am the Reference and Instruction Librarian here at Cleveland State, and you guys are starting to work on your argumentation and your persuasion essay, and you're covering two specific plays, and I'm going to create a short video for you guys today so that you can see how to search our databases for those specific plays and what you can do if you don't find any information or you find very little information about that particular play. So with all of our searches in the library, we'll start here on CougarNet. And then we scroll down or we move down until we see the library tab. You'll see we have our library hours here, and I just want to point out our library email address. So if you still have questions after watching this video, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you find some things. And we're going to scroll down to our subject guides. And then once our subject guides come up, we're going to scroll down until we see English Composition 2. And then you see we have several of those, so we're going to look at the Literary Criticism Guide. And the reason we're going out here to find that, you'll see there's a lot of information over here, including citation information and database search tips that you guys can go out and look at later. That box that just popped out at us is also our chat service. So if you want to get contact directly with the librarian, that's a great way to do it. Right now, we're going to go out to Finding Sources, and we're going to focus in on articles because that's most of what you guys are going to be looking at. And we're actually going to start down here at Literature Gale. I do want to point out, though, that there are several different types of databases out here that you can look at. One of the things I want you to keep in mind as we click on Literature Gale is because we know that there are a very few amount of resources out here for Poof by Lynn Nottage, and even there's a few more for Trifles by Susan Glaspell, but there's not a lot on either one of these subjects. And like I said, Poof by Lynn Nottage, there is very, very few articles out here. You're going to need to try several of these different databases. You're not going to be able to just stay in one database. You're going to have to try multiple of these databases, which is again why we start out on the subject guide. And we're going to go out to the basic search, and we're going to go make sure we use advanced search. Because of the way that you have to find items for these two plays, and because of some of the things we're going to have to do a little bit later, we always want to make sure we're going through the advanced search. So a very simple search is just putting the play title in there and then coming down and telling you only want literary criticism and clicking search. But you can see just doing that, we come up with over 4,000 results. Some of them are going to be relevant, some of them aren't. Let's go out here and let's show you what happens when we put Poof in here and we click search. We get 165, which is a lot smaller, but again, not all of these things are going to be relevant to what you guys are looking at. So the second thing you want to do is you want to put the name of the author in that second box, and you'll see this first box is already selected basic search. That's great, that's where we want it. We want to make sure we switch that second box to basic search and hit search, and this is where we run into our problem. We don't have anything that both mentions the title and Lynn Nottage in this particular database. Just to show you, if we change it to, oh, that's not spelled correctly. Okay, so if we change it to Trifles and then we look for Susan Glaspell, we've still got basic search turned on. We do get some items for that search. So that's kind of how you can tell if there's just nothing out there or if you've put something in incorrectly. You can also, we had put Poof in and then we tried to put Lynn Nottage in and we hadn't gotten anything. If you do that, then let's try to put Lynn Nottage in and see what happens. Okay, and we do have 24 things there. Some of them are going to be useful to you, some of them are not. So you can go ahead and look through that list and see what's useful. But there's nothing specifically about Poof that was written by Lynn Nottage that's a literary criticism. And that's where you might run into a little bit of difference as well. So what we're going to do, when you're starting your search, put the title in here first, see what comes up. If you get a lot of results like we did, once you've put the title in here, then you would come and you would put the author's name, and and make sure to change that to basic search. And then you would search and see, and unfortunately we know we tried that and it took out all of the results. So what you can do then is go back to your search, take this out, and go back to just the poof and try to page through these results and see if anything is actually about that item, about the play, but that it just doesn't have the author's name attached to it. What I would do though, because we've done a lot of research on this, is I would look for a theme. So before you started writing your paper, before you started getting to the point where you're looking for your research, you should have sat down and created a research question, or what your theme of the paper is going to be about. So if you're talking about Poof by Lynn Nottage, what theme are you going to be focusing on? And that it really should look like, that research question should look like a question. And you can take that and then you can start looking up some things about theme in the databases, and you can use those pieces even though it's not specifically about Poof by Lynn Nottage. You can use that piece about that particular theme and you can apply it to Lynn Nottage and that particular play. So say we were going to go out and we were going to look at freedom as a theme, and we just put it in and we have our basic search and we say literary criticism and we hit search. That gives us 75,000 results. Obviously that is way too many, and it's going to be way too hard to find the thing that we are particularly looking for this assignment. So what you can do is you can either go back to your revised search, get back to this, and think about the other aspects of freedom that may apply in your research question. Maybe it's women's freedom, and so we make sure we change that to basic search again, and we hit search, and now we're down to 54,000 items. You can keep trying to refine that search and refine that search that way. The other thing you can do is you can go over here to our right, and there's a couple of things we want to try to filter this down by. So basically these filters are, I always kind of compare them to our Amazon filters. If you go to buy a pair of pants on Amazon and you're using your computer, because it looks a little bit differently on the computer than it does on your phone, and you put pants in the search and you get a blue million results, and you look to the left and you have all kinds of things, preset things that everybody tends to narrow these that search down by. Do you only want Amazon Prime delivery? Do you only want a certain color? Do you only want a certain size? Those things, again, that everybody wants and needs to narrow things down by. And you use those things to finally get to the list of pants that you possibly want. This filter your results over here to the right, that's basically the same concept as Amazon. So these are things that everybody wants to narrow it down by. So the first thing I would look at is document type. Make sure you're only looking at an essay, an article, a critical essay, an article, or an essay. That makes sure you're not going to get any of the book reviews, the work overviews, the viewpoints. We'll apply that. That gets us down a little bit, but not a lot. And then you can start looking at, maybe you can find subjects. This is a play, so we had put freedom and we had put women in. Maybe we want to put play in and see if that will come down a little bit, but you can scroll through this and see what else you might be able to find to narrow things down by. Let's just put literary techniques, and you can see we've gone from 50,000 results to 478 results, and that's certainly much easier for us to go through. So I just want you guys, as you go through this process, to keep in mind that this search is going to take a little bit longer, because we don't have a lot of stuff already in the catalog that is specifically literary criticism about these particular plays by these particular authors. So you're going to have to look at theme, which means you're going to be looking at a bigger pool of information. So it's okay if it takes a little bit of a long time. You can also see that we've certainly done a lot more searching technicality within the database. So if you guys give it a try and you still don't feel like it's taking too long, you feel like you're not looking or you're not finding whatever you think you need to find, then again, go back out to the library homepage and look here and see what our hours are, see what our chat hours are if you want to talk to someone immediately, and then see what our library email is. And if you want to, we'll be more than happy for you guys to stop in and ask us a question right there. And then again, just remember that keep track of the things that you've tried, keep track of the things that you've tried in which database, and make sure that you're trying them in multiple databases, because just because we don't have anything in one database doesn't mean that we don't have something else in another database. I recommend that you stick with Literature Gale as much as you can, but all of these databases here are options for you for this assignment. So if you've tried everything you can try in one database, then go to a different database and try all that stuff again, and sometimes you'll be pleasantly surprised that you do find something. And just remember that you're not going to be able to, you may not be able to find an article that is specifically about Poof by Lynn Nottage that is literary criticism. And so it's okay to take literary criticism about particular things, that addresses literary criticism of Lynn Nottage, and just take bits and pieces of that. The whole article doesn't need to be useful. Very small pieces of that article can be useful to help you create your argument for this particular assignment. So I hope that this has helped out. And if not, please contact us and we'll be happy to help you out find those resources for this assignment. Have a great day.